Hey everybody, this is Rusty again with Collector Auctions. Today I've got a new CGC unboxing. It is the first 25 books I should say, of a 50 book order. It is a modern submission. It was not a pre-screen. Every book in this order I cleaned and pressed myself. We had a lot of great successes in this box. There was a few misses in there that were a little disappointing. It was a sort of a mixed bag. I will continue to learn from this and try to be better. Maybe some of my submissions, with some of them, I should do a pre-screen at a slightly lower grade than a 9.8 or a 9.6. In this case, most of these books, even at a slightly lower grade, will still hold a lot of value. So I didn't bother doing a pre-screen for this one. But what was great about this was I got this order. This is the first of the 2 boxes. The other order is actually going to be coming in the next few days. This one came in on the 22nd, but let me give you some dates. I literally mailed this off around the 5th to 6th of October. It was received by CGC on the 19th, marked shipped on the 20th, and I literally, as I just said, received it on the 22nd. So that's an amazing turnaround. I'm not paying for any sort of walkthrough or any fast tracking or anything like that. So I hear a lot of people are getting orders back, recent orders back, that CGC is trying some new things and trying to get these orders processed at a lot faster than they normally do. I still have orders back from the beginning of April that are still sitting there being worked on. Now, granted, most of them are being worked on, being cleaned and pressed, but haven't seen a lot of movement on those orders though. So anyway, let's get into the books. Before we get going, if you like this kind of content, as I always say, hit like and subscribe so you'll know when I drop new content. I love people to leave comments on the books. And if anybody's ever interested in purchasing any of the books that I ever have in my videos, I'm always willing to talk to everybody. You can leave me a message on YouTube there, or you can contact me, give me an email, or send me an email at collectorauctions@yahoo.com. It's all one word, no hyphen or anything. So, all right, guys, let's get into the box. Now, I had some really good books in this, and that's why I think I was a little disappointed on some of the results. But there were some really good hits in here too. So first up was a pretty nice book. This is John Byrne's The Next Men. This is issue number 14. And what I think is so special about this is that it has, I think it's the first appearance in the comic book of Hellboy. Granted, it was, I think, on a poster in the background, and it's barely visible if you're not even paying attention. But if there's something more to this book than that, please let me know. Leave me a comment. But I got a 9.6 on that. It is a really clean copy. I have to look a little bit closer to see what defects I missed. But this looked really good to begin with. I did a quick press on this. I could have sworn this book would have pulled a 9.8. It looked really good. But again, on all of these, I'll have to evaluate it a little bit closer. But a 9.8, or excuse me, a 9.6 on that one. Okay, keeping with the same book is even better. It's Next Men, number 21. And this is the first color appearance of Hellboy. And this is a quite sought after hot book. And again, I thought this was a really, really nice looking copy that I had. I didn't think it needed anything more than a quick press and a little bit of work on the spine. The spine ticks are nil. There's really nothing color breaking. I've missed something, but I got a 9.6 on that. There's still a lot of value in it at a 9.6. So that was really nice. All right, so I had 3 copies of this in my collection, and I submitted all 3. This is the first of them. This is Avengers 257. This is the first appearance of Nebula. John Buscema Tom Palmer artwork. I love their work. I actually own a couple pages in this book of the original artwork that if you are interested in it, I'll show it off someday. But this was the first one I got. I got a 9.4 in that. I cannot tell the difference between this one and the other two, but I ended up getting 9.4 on that one. And then the next one, there was a 9.6. And the third one, I got a 9.6. So that was actually pretty good. The two 9.6s are really good. I don't really want to have to pay for greater notes on this. They look really good. Maybe there's something on the interior, but I was really hoping for at least one of those to get a 9.8. I thought they looked really good. But again, a lot of value at the 9.6 level. Even the 9.4, a little bit of value. So now I just recently picked up that same issue at the Baltimore Comic Con. I bought a issue. I put a little bit more money into it, looking for a really good copy. I've started working on it a little bit. I'm not sure if I can pull that one out to a 9.8. I'm pretty sure I can get it to a 9.6, but we'll find that one out eventually. All right, the next book up is Daredevil 255. This is the first meeting between Daredevil and Typhoid Mary. And again, it was a really nice copy in my collection. Did a quick press. There's no distinctive damage on the side. I got a 9.6 on this. Pretty happy with that. Again, I thought I had done a better job than that. But 9.6, that's a pretty decent grade on this book. John Romita Jr. artwork. That was a fun run on Daredevil by him. All right, now this book, I didn't expect a higher grade. I had hoped for a higher grade, but it's Machine Man #1, Jack Kirby artwork. This copy on the front, I got a 7.5. Now, the front of this book looks fantastic. There is no damage down the side here. It looks beautiful. But the back side, now it looks really good to look at, but this corner was creased. It was completely folded in two, and I worked and got the crease out of it as best I could, but it's a completely color breaking. You can still see the crease even though I've smoothed it out as clean as possible, but that really cost me on this one. But it is a wonderful presenting book. Even at a 7.5, this presents beautifully. So I'm not terribly disappointed in this. I would have hoped at least in the 8 range, but again, it is what it is. This one will stay in the PC unless someone's interested in it. All right, now this one is an older book. I did this one. I don't think there's a lot of value in it regardless, but it was a nice looking book. I thought I could bring it up to a 9.8. I challenged myself on this one. This is John Carter, the Warlord of Mars. This is the Marvel comic. And I didn't expect a 9.8. Well, I guess I did expect a 9.8. I was hoping for a 9.8, so I should be really happy with the 9.6. It had a little bit of rough damage on the spine, and I got most of that out of it, obviously. So I should be really happy with that. 9.6 on that's pretty good. Now, another older book that I worked on was Champions #1. And in this particular order, as you just saw with the previous 2 books, I picked some older books to work on to see what I could do with them and everything. The Machine Man was one thing with that crease in it. The John Carter and this one, I didn't think had a lot of damage to begin with. I thought they were pretty clean. There is some spine tick issues on the side. 9.2 on this I should be pretty happy with that, I suppose. I don't know if I expected better. I was hoping for at least a 9.4 and 9.6 on that. But it presents really well. 9.2 should be pretty good on this. All right, now I should be happy with this as well, but had some sustained spine tick damage around the staples in this. This is Alpha Flight number 1. Got a 9.6 on it. It is, I had several copies of this. This was the cleanest of the 3, but all 3 of them had some real spine stress damage around the staples. It seems like the paper would pull and put like a double tick around those staples, and it was tough getting those out. I think I did a really good job on this one. I pulled a 9.6 on that. I should be pretty happy with that. And continuing with that, I got ROM number 1. And this was a really clean copy to begin with as well. I gave it a press. I think I pressed this several times trying to get some of the everything to smooth out really good. 9.4 on this is really is a pretty good grade. I hope for at least a 9.6, but this one came out pretty good. All right, now here's a book that I did not expect a 9.8 on. It had a major spine tick on it that I worked and cleaned it up and smoothed it out. I can see it. I'm sitting here looking at the color break on it. Other than that, the book is really clean. But it is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 7. It is the first color Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on here, and it's a really, it's one of only a couple issues I ever had of the Turtles. There is a spine tick right in this area over here that it's color breaking. It's there. There's no getting away from it. And to pull a 9.6 on that, I'm really, really excited with. This one, I couldn't have hoped for anything better. There's no way this is going to be a 9.8, but 9.6 is fantastic. This was a complete success on this one. All right, this one I shouldn't be too disappointed on. I was hoping for a 9.6, but there was some damage on here that I couldn't get. But it is Punisher. It's the miniseries. First issue in the miniseries for the Punisher. Mike Zeck artwork. And it is really clean. I pressed this several times getting any kind of, and I worked on the spine to get the spine ticks out. But there is a little bit of, right here, on the corner, you can see where there's, I'm not really sure, I guess it's a small tear, but there's some damage right there. Everything else really is clean on here. And so, again, I didn't think I'd get a 9.8, but a 9.6 I thought was completely possible. 9.4 I'm fairly happy with. But again, you always hope for better. Now, here's one that I'm really happy with, considering that there was a lot of creasing and spine tick damage on the back of this that I wasn't sure how it was going to come out. It took several presses to get this to come out. I don't know if I put this into a moisture bath or not, but I was real happy with this. This is Dark Horse Comics Predator number 1. And I know that at a 9.8, this is really valuable. 9.6, I don't think it's, well, it's not quite as valuable, obviously. But I'm really happy with this grade. I was happy that I could work on this. As I said, in this area right here, it was really creased. And just to be able to press that out, work the spine, clean it up, there's not really... Actually, there's not really any spine tick damage on the back here, but I suppose there's a little bit of wear on this book, and that's why I ended up with this grade. 9.6 is fantastic on this. All right, now, in one of my previous videos, I'd actually sent a couple copies of this book in. I had picked up multiple copies of this book at a little showdown in Laurel. Dollar books. Literally dollar books, and that's what these are. Dollar comics. These are facsimiles, and this is a facsimile of Batman Adventures number 12. The reprinting, well, it's the facsimile of the first appearance of Harley Quinn in the comic books. And if you watch my previous videos, you'll know I talked about this. All of these books had a little bit of spine ticks up and down there, and I worked all of these books until I got them to where I thought they were. Pulled another. This is my third 9.8 on this. So again, I'm real happy with this one. That's a nice piece of the collection. I'll never be able to afford the original at this point, but this is really good. This will look nice on the wall. It's a nice conversation piece. Okay, so another great success. Pressing really worked well on this. Again, this book had damage on the back and the lower left hand, actually the lower left hand corner. It has a kind of a blackish back cover, and it was unforgiving. And I pressed the heck out of this thing and worked it and worked it and worked it. But it is Spawn number 9, the first appearance of Angela. And I got a 9.6 on this. And I couldn't have been happier getting this grade. There was no way in the world this would ever get a 9.8. As I said, there was some damage back here in the back of the book. It's hard to see in this light right here, but I know it was, you can see a slight color breakage. Not a huge crease, but it was a little bit of color breakage. And I didn't do that. I didn't press this one out to do anything more than to put this in my collection. I sent Spawn number 1 in the previous order and got a 9.8 on that. That was another huge success in my pressing knowledge at this point. But this right here, I'm just as happy with. 9.6 on this is fantastic. All right, so another really good success. Although the damage on the book was not that great to begin with, but there was definitely problems with it. And I honestly didn't think I'd pull this one out. But it's Young Avengers number 12. I got a 9.8 on that. And that's what you need on, other than the first issue, and was the first, 6th, and 9th issues. I think this is the next valuable book in that run. But you need 9.8s on most of these other than number 1 to have any real value. And this is the first appearance of Tommy Shepard as Speed. And it's also the last issue of the series. But that's just a beautiful cover and everything. I was really shocked and happy to get a 9.8 on this one. All right, so one of the things I've been doing is going through the collection and pulling out books that have some value and trying to clean and press them myself and turn them around, get them graded, and I'm going to either hold on to them for the PC or they'll be for sale. It's one or the other. I don't intend to keep the collection forever, so that's why I say if anybody's ever interested in anything, just let me know. And I found I've got 2 copies of this particular issue. One that was in my collection, and one I found at the same little show I've been talking about down in Laurel, Maryland, and that is Simpsons Comics number 1, Bongo Comics. And of course this is the homage to Fantastic Four number 1. I'm not sure which copy this is, because my guess is this is the one that I picked up at the show, because it looked really good. Of course, it looked great because it was in Mylar. But when I pulled it out, there was no spine tick damage or anything. But there was some, on the glossy type cover, it had some spots on it that there's nothing I was going to do with that. And I have to think that that was the issue with this. But a 9.6 on this is really nice. This is very nice, and it presents really well. But on the other one, this is really nice. I got a 9.8 on that. So that's fantastic. That one is fantastic. I had kept this one in really good condition. I try to keep all my books in good conditions, but over the course of the last 30 to 40 years, the collection gets moved, boxes get jostled, things happen, and you never know when you pick it up. I could have always been better about storing my books, but real happy with that. That's a 9.8 on Simpsons Comics number 1. All right, well, I'm going to stick with the Bongo Comics Simpsons theme here, and this is Radioactive Man #1. And this one I was a little disappointed on. I thought this was extremely clean. I got a 9.6 on it, but once I looked at it, there is a real big spine tick right here, and I don't think I missed that. So I don't know if that was on CGC or not, but I don't remember seeing it. But at the moment, I'm going to be satisfied. It's a 9.6. I don't think I'm going to do anything with this at this point. So a little disappointed, although it's still a pretty good grade. Now here's another Simpsons comic. This is Itchy and Scratchy Comics #1. Now this one I actually didn't expect to get a 9.8. I expected a 9.6. There was a spine tick over here that I wasn't sure how it would be perceived. I can see it. It's not huge. It's not really color breaking, but well, I guess, I don't know. It's, to me, I can notice it, but I guess it's because I worked on it and I know where it is. But hey, it's a 9.8 on this. You can't ask for better than that. That's fantastic. 9.8 on Itchy and Scratchy #1. All right, so then we've got Bart Simpson's Treehouse of Horror. And this, I love this cover. I love the very first issue of the series when they started doing this. That was, for years, Halloween tradition was watch the Simpsons Halloween special. I love that special. It was, at a certain point, that was the only Simpsons episode I would watch during the year. It was those there that they would do. And to get a 9.8 on this was a great copy to begin with. There wasn't a lot of work to do on it. So 9.8 on that. That's exciting stuff right there. All right, I've got one more Simpsons comic book, and this is Bartman #1. And it's got a real nice foil cover here on the and the vat that he's hanging over. But I got a 9.8 on this. There was really nothing wrong with this book. It was in great condition when I pulled it out. Gave it a quick press. Just double check that spine and everything. This was a great success. Didn't do a lot of work to it, like I said, but real happy to have a 9.8 on that one. All right, guys, I've got 2 books left, and I got to tell you, I am extremely excited about this. I did not think that this book was going to get to this level. It's got some age on it. I do have white pages on it, but this book came from 1983 from Marvel, and looking at a lot of those books, and maybe I need to learn more about the page coloring and things like that, but it doesn't look exactly white to me. But they're judging at white pages. There was a little bit of spine tick damage on this. Color breaking, just minor, very minor. But it pressed out really nice, and I couldn't have asked for anything better on this book. This is a book that's going to stay in the PC. It's funny, some of the books that I've gotten that people would consider grails that I've had no problem parting with. But this one I'm going to have an issue parting with, but it is a personal favorite, and it's Thor 337, the first appearance of Beta Ray Bill. I got a 9.6 on this. As I said, there's no way this is going to get a 9.8, but the 9.6 is fantastic. So I am so excited about this. I had actually a couple copies of this, and the other copy I have is sitting in the office right now. I had pulled it out to possibly get Jim Shooter to sign it over the course of this last weekend when the Baltimore Comic-Con was going on, but I ended up pulling it back. I'd already had Walt Simonson had already signed it, and I think the letterer had also signed it. I'm not sure, but I know Walt had already signed it. But that copy has a big stain down here at the bottom. There's no fixing that at this point. But this, if I hadn't already decided to get this graded, if I hadn't already, I should have probably had Walt sign this one years ago too. But it is what it is. I had this. This is cleaned up really good. You can't ask for this anything better. And I've got a friend right here. Look at that. This is Lucky. He's coming over here to help. Can you say hi? Well, he's going to help out, it looks like. There. And then the last book is the next issue, which was 338. And this one had the same kind of issues. It was very clean. And slight color breaking on the spine, on just a spot, maybe two. I'm not really sure. I'll have to go back and look exactly where. But real happy with that, too. 9.6 on this. I guess I'm going to have to get the third issue, 339, at some point. I've got it sitting in there. I think I need to press it, but I picked another copy of that one up at the Comic-Con this weekend as well. But I'll get that one done, and I'll have the trifecta of all three of these first three issues done. Hopefully at least the 9.6 on that one at some point too. But this was the last issue in the box. Guys, hey, that's everything. So overall, this was a really good box. There were some lows in there. I wasn't real happy with the Avenger books, and I don't know what happened to that Radioactive Man book. I know I didn't send it in with that kind of spine tick. But overall, this is a really great submission. I've got some great books in here, some great grades. Can't go wrong with that. So anyway, guys, that is it for today. Again, if you like this kind of content, hit the like and subscribe button. I said at the beginning of the show. Leave a comment. What do you think of the books? What do you think of the books that I've been submitting? I'd be curious to find out. If you want to talk to me, leave me a comment. If you want interested in the books, contact me at collectorauctions@yahoo.com. The link is in the description on the video and on the channel. So, guys, that is it for today. Take care, and I will see you for the next video.